Welcome to Continuous Testing Live. We're broadcasting live here from our CA offices in Santa Clara, California. My name is Eric Odell, and I'm the Director of Solutions Marketing for Continuous Testing. I'm here with my friend here, Margaret Lee, and she's the Senior Vice President of Product Management for Continuous Delivery Business Unit. And during this video, we're going to show you how continuous testing makes your apps rock. Now, we've been talking in previous videos about this topic, and we've been talking a lot about some of the challenges for continuous testing and some of the processes. But Margaret, I wanted to ask you, from your conversations with customers regarding continuous testing, what are some of the approaches, how should they go about tackling this problem?
Good morning, Eric. Yes. So I've been talking to a lot of customers, and overall, Agile and DevOps transformation is a very hot topic.
Okay.
And very quickly, they realize testing is a bottleneck, and they want to tackle that. So the approach that I would ask the customers first is understand why. Why are they going through the process of transformation towards Agile and DevOps practices? Because that transformation is not easy, right? What is the business benefit? How do they benefit from releasing capabilities into the hands of customers and employees on a regular basis, right? So that gives them the motivation to continue on with this journey. The second part is I would suggest customers to take a systems approach, looking at this system holistically. I'm a trained system engineer by education, so I look at things like from conceiving of an idea all the way to in production benefiting users and that continuous loop as entire system. So they should think about things like throughput, things like bottlenecks, things like how to optimize their teams, where the optimization points. They should think about how to get the different functionality payloads through the system and being tested as quickly as possible, as well covered as possible. So take a systems approach to this rather than siloed individual piece or individual step of testing or release, right? And the third is take a look at their tool chain and take a look at the available system that developer and testers use. The analogy I have in my mind I often think about is, for example, if you think about the super automated and super smart production lines in, let's say, car manufacturing plants, okay? Or the Uber sort of sorting centers by the likes of UPS, FedEx, and Amazon, right? So those are super automated systems, really intelligent. They can automatically detect a lot of the errors, and then they are generally master planned, right? So in the case of the sorting centers, they're literally delivering small packets of value to customers on an ongoing basis with minimal error. So now contrast that with the software delivery tool chains, software delivery assembly lines that most companies have today. Right? You will see that the degree of automation, the degree of visibility, right? The degree of sort of just manual step that's still involved is greatly different. So companies need to think about building the software production line, right, and look at where the gaps are.
Okay, so we hear a lot of definitions about what is continuous testing. I want to know what your definition is for continuous testing, and how do CA's products help with this issue?
Right, this is definitely, continuous testing is becoming a hotter area, at the risk of being yet another buzzword. In my mind, continuous testing foremost is a set of best practices, right? And a set of testing best practices in the context world of continuously delivering capabilities, right? Many of the test specialists know about the testing pyramid, unit testing, system and regression, all of that. All of that principles still hold. Okay, but with the continuous delivery, with the fine grain of the requirements, there's added best practices that need to be adopted, right? Second is, once you know the best practices, then you need to have the competency, meaning the ability to execute and follow those best practices, and also means your teams need to have the right tools, right? With which they can build the competencies. So the way I look at it is that there's two different types of competencies and tool sets to think about. One is the type of test that you absolutely need to do,
Okay.
whether it's shifting left towards the developer or shifting right into ops in the world of red and blue deployments or canary deployments. Production and testing happen at the same time. So you still need to do unit tests. Still need to test your APIs. You still need to test your sort of UIs and how that functions. You need to do performance testing. You still need to do system integration testing. You still need to do security testing, right? You just need to do them pervasively from beginning to end and on an ongoing 24/7 sort of 360 basis. Secondly, you need to have sort of surrounding capabilities that makes all of this testing happen.
Right.
Whether it's rapidly provisioned and test environments, whether it's data, which oftentimes is the lifeblood of actual execution tests, making that readily available, or the ability to mock out, to stub out really expensive systems, so you
Okay.
can complete this end-to-end testing, without sort of having access to really expensive systems. So doing tests continuously and have all the supporting functions putting together is critical for continuous testing, a competency and practice. And then looking ahead, continuous testing also means end-to-end visibility,
Okay.
right? To have a master sort of control center of seeing your code being conceived and built and put it into production, right? And then, as you can imagine, this multiple payloads continuous becomes very complex.
Right.
So what you really need going forward is sort of a mastermind, okay, that help you to plan and help you to execute. So what we are going to talk about in the future is looking at continuous intelligent automated test planning.
Okay.
So all of these put together are different aspects of continuous testing. And CA has quite a few technologies today, and we're working on more exciting stuff going forward to support this.
Yes, and we're going to be hearing more about some of those solutions in upcoming videos on Continuous Testing Live. And Margaret, I want to thank you very much
Thank you.
for joining us this morning. So we're going to hear from you later this afternoon on a panel all about continuous testing. Can't wait for that.
For sure.
And so if you want to learn more about continuous testing, I want you to go right now to whenshifthappens.io. Again, that's whenshifthappens.io. And like I said, we're going to be talking all day today on Continuous Testing Live about a number of tools and processes that you need to employ for continuous testing. But for right now, we'll see you on the flip side.